lean on my desk or like lean over my desk and like push my chest against it without just like these sharp corners just digging
Yeah.
into me.
I
So annoying.
my workbench in the garage, when I first got it, I was like super precious about it. I was like, okay, we're gonna put some mats down. We're gonna not slide anything sharp metal across it. So if I have like my brake calipers, I'm not just gonna drag it across the surface and score into the finish. But like I've put so many like bolts and I laid a transmission on it so there's dents in it and like spinning things around is just like carved like coffee rings into it. I'm like it's a wood worktop. It's supposed to get the crap beat out of it.
Well, now that I have oil on my desk, I'm gonna stop being
Hmm.
so like, oh, be careful, oh, be
Oh,
careful.
uh-huh. But like the cool thing about it is that it's just a slab of wood and it's pre-drilled with like Allen screws. So if I really like snapped off a corner of it or cracked it down the middle or any drilled a hole right in the middle of it, I could absolutely unbolt the desktop, get a slab of wood cut, drill it in the same spots, and put it back exactly how it is now.
That's essentially what mine is. Mine's like a butcher block countertop that I
Mhm.
got from Lowe's.
Yep.
So
And
I
it,
could do
it
something similar.
it
I've
sort of
drilled
has to
a
be because if you mount a vise to your workbench, it needs to not go anywhere.
I drilled a hole in this one for my
Oh.
microphone.
Yep.
And it works great.
It's way easier. Okay. I
Did
forgot
you
what we were doing.
know,
What
by
did it?
the way, that the guy who plays Sheriff Breaker in this game, not Sheriff Breaker in the first one because that was his sister, he was in X Men?
Yes, that he is Iceman?
I think it was Iceman. I'm gonna look it up right now. Tim Breaker, played
Hello?
by
He's Sean Ashmore?
Sean Ashmore. That's what I was looking for.
Parliament Tower Plaza to make
Okay, so Parliament
Sean.
Tower Plaza. It says, yeah, keeping a work desk clean is a good joke we tell ourselves every time. Yeah,
Bobby Drake Iceman.
but yes, okay. Okay, that's you. Sure.
Anderson.
Just run through the conversation so we at
Can I-
least have the game acknowledge
Is that
it.
really you?
Can I?
Sorry, this
I can't.
place likes to play tricks.
Sheriff Breaker? What happened to you?
Can't like skip
How did you
through
end up in the dark place?
anything.
And I was brought here, snatched away from the morgue by a man named Orland Dorr.
How far away can I get?
Been trying to piece it together.
So he's saying the door pulled him away from the morgue, but
Well,
I thought it
feels
was.
like a long
I
time
thought it was.
Whenever you're talking
that
to him, you
corpse.
can't leave.
Interesting.
Okay, and once you like hit a prompt,
I need to get to Parliament Tower Plaza. Do you have any
yeah,
idea where it
I'm like
is?
locked in a
This
bubble,
place-
and every time I look away, it snaps my vision back to him.
I'm trying to map it.
Oh, I thought
but
that was
it
you
keeps
looking back at him.
It
shifting.
does every once in a while. I can't.
Like there
Make
were
it do
many
it.
versions stacked on top of each other. There is a page.
Also,
describes Dorr finding his way through this place. I tried
I just
follow
want to
the
say
steps,
I'm
but
like a little bit like excited
No luck.
that right now Sergio, Meg, and
Who
Steve
is
are
this
using our
Dorr
Discord
person?
server to play
he's
To
here.
play Helldivers.
to play Helldivers.
Yeah. Glad they
Seeing
can.
his face in
I'm,
my
I'm
dreams
hoping
for
they're
years.
playing. it.
I mean, they've titled it
This whole
Helldivers, so
thing
I would have to
is
assume.
insane.
Well, that's the neat thing about Helldivers is that sometimes you can launch Helldivers and not
And
play
And stare at it
Helldivers.
for an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can I see that page, Tim?
Of course. In fact, it's the page I tried to give you back in the morgue in Bright Falls. Huh. Now that I think about it, maybe Dorr brought me here to keep you from reading it.
It snaps me back around one time, and then I can walk away, or I can.
I'm gonna keep looking
Face
for
away.
Dorr. The closer I get,
Oh.
the closer I feel to waking up.
What's that?
Sean Ashmore's in Sons of the Forest.
You don't say.
I don't know if it's a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. We know he's in the game.
He stopped at the
Uh,
door to the construction
He
yard.
voices Timmy.
A poster for his talk
Really?
show hung there.
Yeah.
He stepped through, willing it to take him to Parliament Tower Plaza.
I know what I need to do. The door to Parliament Tower Plaza was at the construction yard.
Find the door to the construction yard. And you, we've got a new one for you.
He was also
This
in
is the
Man of
first time I've
Medan.
seen a page about Warland Door.
Right. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, I can kind of see his face in that.
A door that stands between two rooms is in both.
We didn't see
A door
this.
that can lead anywhere is everywhere. That door is the center. He governs the currents of reality.
With all the powers mixed up in this, it's hard to know who's playing who. Opening too many doors. This isn't important right now. I can look into it later.
Okay, they just did it again. They just did it again. In Alan Wake 1, you're too busy fighting the witch, and then a Scratch shows up. Hey, Mike. And like literally, they're like, "Oh, that's just Scratch. Don't worry about him." They just did it again.
Page just-
Warland Door is going to be the bad guy of Alan Wake 3.
How can I do that?
The dark place has many faces and many names. It is a mirror, reflecting all possible realities.
Not a door, it's a
A
hallway.
family of doors have the power to shift between these realities, here and elsewhere.
If I can find a way to navigate through this nightmare, maybe I can find a way to get back home.
What's up, Mike? If I did not welcome you already. Anything new on the case board? I don't believe so.
Mike, was it you who hypothesized that Door might be Saga Anderson's father?
Which one am I at right now? Not there. I don't have a map. Where could I get a map? Usually I get a map from the cop, but he's not helpful.
Maybe he'll give you one now that you're like.
Right.
guessed it?
Find the door to the construction yard. Is this a construction yard?
It's also interesting that they still have these like light receptacles but you
Right.
don't have.
But I can't
the
do
wand,
anything with. Yeah. So
the
me.
wand or light bulb or whatever that thing was.
Oh, right. I'm going out of bounds. Me, the player, knows what those mean, but I don't think Saga knows what those mean.
Also, I learned a little bit of stuff tangentially related to Alan Wake. Did you know that there are 4 different versions of the Herald of Darkness song?
I did not know that.
And there's not even 4. There's also 7.
I feel like you've just bait and switched me.
No, because I'm both right. They're both correct.
Okay.
So there's the live version, the one they played at the Game Awards, where they cut out
all right.
a few of the verses, and
I see.
they had to keep it to 4 minutes and 18 seconds.
Right, the radio edit.
There is the music video version, which is 9.5 minutes, which
Mhm.
has all of the verses, and they took like a lot of the, the screens that you see as you're walking around through that part.
Right.
They took all that and they turned it into a big music video, 9.5 minutes.
Gotcha.
Then there is, I'm assuming this is like the true version of the song, because all of the other ones have like a qualifier, like Herald of Darkness music video version, Herald of Darkness live presentation.
I see.
This
Yeah.
one is just called Herald of Darkness, no qualifiers.
Right. Base version.
It is 13.5 minutes.
Okay.
But then there are subcategories of that version, because there's Herald of Darkness instrumental, Herald of Darkness no lead guitar, Herald of Darkness instrumental and no lead guitar.
Oh, so you're getting the what do they call those? There's a word for it when they make them for.
Karaoke
No, the
masters.
when they release something to I've forgotten the game. Rock Band. There's a name for those individual.
Yeah, masters.
Right. Well, the masters is like the studio recordings of it. But I mean
Of the individual layers.
Right.
It's broken out into individual layers.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
like
masters.
layers, but I can't remember the word of it. There's a term for each instrument of the. There's another toolbox.
Yeah, I think you looked at it and then walked away from it.
Did I? Oh, I did. Yeah, there's one right
Um,
here.
I made it. I need
Apparently
to
I
get
made
to
it.
the street and
So yeah,
find that
I
statue.
just learned when I was gonna tell you guys about this. I literally learned that about 5 minutes before we went live. It's like, oh, the like baseline Herald of Darkness song, 13 and a half minutes, actually has 4 different versions. The
Yeah,
original
I guess
instrumental.
track. I guess track is a good enough word for it.
Yeah, I think so. But there's the original instrumental, no lead guitar, and instrumental and no lead guitar. Which
Yeah.
I don't know what no lead guitar would even sound like.
Enough already.
Shut the hell up, you
August
goddamn
had
kid.
enough.
Shut the hell up. But the this version of the song, the 13 and a half minute version of the song, they've taken between the verses, they've added a little bit of the like instrumental like flares that play while like the
Okay.
game is waiting for you to catch up, so you can
Gotcha.
keep going.
Little fills and stuff like that.
There is a Herald of Darkness complete edit, which is 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it is
Getting
like,
some-
it has every second of that extra instrumental fill
Yeah.
added to it.
Michael
I've-
Jackson cut.
I've
There's the
listened to all
shoebox.
4 versions of the song, and I have
The
to say
clicker.
the music video version is
And
like
some kind
the
of
best to
bullet.
listen to.
Shining with
But-
light. How did the clicker get
Man,
here
that
from
30-minute
Washington?
version of the song, it just goes on and on. And then you'll forget that they're singing, and all of a sudden Alan Wake will be like, my mom gave me a light switch, or whatever.
Ah.
Sick of this dude. Are
What
they
weapons do
still
I
gonna
have?
go? Are they still gonna go? Wake.
Oh. Oh, he's got 3 of them this time.
That one in the back is real because he's harping those things out. Still coming.
Need a heal, and I ain't got none.
You're out of
and
bounds.
I'm out of bounds. I don't know where I am. Ah, dang it.
Mike says, Logan, I get
I
you
made
finished
it.
the first one.
I
Yes,
need to get up to the street and
I've
find that
finished
statue.
the first game. I haven't played either the Signals or the Rider DLC for it, and I also have not played American Nightmare yet. But as far as the baseline game have played, I've played that one all the way through to the credits.
Okay, I need to set my quick buttons.
Question without spoilers of the rest. Okay. Can't really spoil the rest. Oh, you would though, I guess, is what you're saying.
Is there a map around here anywhere? Can I look at one of these and get a map?
It was really strange. Do you think Alan wrote Zane writing Alan, or Zane just wrote Alan? That sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Yes, it is as ridiculous as it sounds. That is
As a
legitimate
person
question.
who's been watching / playing this game series, I know exactly what you're saying.
Right.
That is tricky because Zane doesn't show up until Alan writes him the underwater diving suit Big Daddy version of Zane.
Enough already.
He doesn't show up until Alan wrote him into the story.
Okay, so I've got 2 flares.
But then when Zane shows up, Zane says that he wrote Alan because like he was a movie producer / poet, which they like. I'm thinking he was originally a poet and then he changed his destiny to be a movie maker. I don't know. It's weird because they keep saying he's a poet. Thomas Zane the poet. No, he was a movie director. That's right.
And some kind of bullet. Shining with light.
But he's in the dream in the
Right here,
tutorial.
Washington.
That's-
There's the shoebox.
I didn't think about that. You're right. I don't know. I think it might be both. I think they just wrote about each other. It makes the most sense. I hate those things. They're
Got
so,
lucky on that one.
they're so annoying. They come out of nowhere. 19 batteries? Holy dang. I didn't know you could have that many. They only let you have
Where's
5
the
and
thing?
that's just skill right there. Oh, never mind.
Hmm.
You're bad and you should feel bad.
Why do I have so many
I made it.
batteries?
I need to get
Is there
up to the
something I
street
should
and
be
find that
doing with
statue.
my
Well, now you only have
flashlight?
6.
I have 16.
Aha. Yeah, but I mean, it would differ with Alan set things in motion or Zane did. It's minor differences, but still always considering if they're the same person. Yeah, because every time you see Zane's actual face, he's Alan.
Hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Alan wrote him and then he's just an extension of himself. What if Zane wrote Alan and Alan is an extension of Zane?
Yeah, like what is the
It feels
Enough
very
already.
chicken and egg thing.
yes,
you
what
know?
is the source and what is the copy?
because the people in Bright Falls knew about Thomas Zane. They knew about him showing up. They knew about the island he stayed on
There's
and then
the
the
shoebox.
volcanic eruption that sank it.
The clicker.
Like they were aware.
And
They
some
were
kind
aware of Thomas Zane.
shining
Right.
light. How did the clicker get here from Washington?
Escape the dark place.
Are you just gonna skedaddle or run away from it? 'Cause that is an option.
That's kind of what I'm gonna try at least once. It's worth a shot.
Now they can't chase you.
That's what I'm thinking. Escape the dark place.
In fact, yeah, every time Tor and Odin see Alan, they just call him Tom.
Right.
Like the first time Alan interacts with them,
Whoa.
whoa, he's one of these zippy guys. They're like, "Hey Tom, go put on that Lime and the Coconut song on in the jukebox." They just call him Tom. I think Alan just thinks that they're just a couple of crazy guys.
I don't know where he is. Ah.
Real assholes.
I don't have any heals.
In the first Alan Wake, you get these
dang it.
you get these flashbangs. You get flashbang grenades, and they instantly kill everything around you.
Yeah,
That would be very convenient.
I have one of those, but I can't think to switch to it. Oh, I might. I already saved, or yeah, I'm already in the thing to escape. Okay. Escape the dark place. Escape the dark.
In the first game, flares don't. They'll knock the shadow off of them, but they won't kill them.
Yeah.
And they'll also stay away from you while they're lit. They won't come up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, we do not know when the story started. Oh, Mike says, true, that was before you start the events of the first game, well, before the lake part. Yeah, because at the very beginning of the game, Alan shows up at the lake. I was hoping that guy would be the one who got.
Yeah, me too.
And then the witch grabs his wife. And then Alan dives in after her, and then after he dives in after her, and a week later when he comes back out of the lake, that's when he did all the writing that he did that changed a bunch of stuff. And that would have,
I cannot do this anymore. Holy jeez.
Fight like a helldiver. When was the earliest known fact of Control? Control had information about the Thomas Zane incident, but when Jesse is reading those facts, that's after Alan changed things.
Save the game, please, so I don't have to do that anymore.
No.
Apparently not.
If you find where the save is, well, I guess that would defeat the purpose of finding the save because you would just save and it'd be past it.
Yeah, occasionally you'll just get up in the corner and just say, game saved. We've done it for you.
The reality
The phone
bending.
again.
The reality bending of this series makes pretty much every narration you find unreliable.
Uh-huh, yep.
It's weird because we take for granted it's the lake's weird supernatural place, but we don't know.
Where's the... Am I near the phone or not? There it is.
Yes?
Hello. You don't know me, but you need
Hoi,
to
hoi.
listen.
Hold on. How did you know the clicker would be there?
This is important. Alan's lost. He doesn't have the ending. He needs your help to finish the story.
How am I supposed to help him from here?
Mike says, to be frank, you can doubt the whole game at this point. At that
Okay.
point.
I'm in the dark place. Wake is in Washington. I could talk to him in overlaps before. My mind place is more powerful than I ever knew. I can try to contact him.
Talk to Jake Gyllenhaal real quick.
It does look like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Alan. We need to talk about the ending.
Saga, what is this?
My mind place. I've reached out to you like this before. But I understand more about it now.
You see visions too. I used to think they were ideas, inspiration, but they're real. Just like this now. I try to use them to make the story come true.
So this is coming from both of us. Maybe that's how we could communicate.
First, I need the ending.
The audio cut out for me for a second.
I've been doing that lately, and I don't know why.
So there's
I don't know if it was
problem
me
with
or
the
for
ending?
stream, but
I don't have the ending. It has to be perfect, but I don't have time to figure it out.
oh, so stream heard it
I don't know
too.
what to do.
Brandon was saying that
Fuck.
OBS 30.0.2
sorry.
is not
This whole
great,
thing
and
is
that's
a fucking
what's
mess.
running on
I
our
agree.
machines.
But we can
So I
still
may roll
figure
back
this
to
out.
an older version and see if it
And what
gets
exactly
better.
does perfect mean?
The elements of the ending need to come from the story's
I feel like it was
pre-existing
fine
parts.
before I
To make
went to
matters
that version.
worse, this is a horror story.
Horror story.
You don't need to tell me this is a horror story.
Right. The ending has to fit the genre if it's going to work. In a horror story, there are only victims and monsters.
There must be a way to bring a hero into the story.
If there is a hero, they will ultimately pay a heavy price.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, where did that other option go?
So the ending has to be earned, set up by the story. You can't build a case without supporting evidence.
That's the only way to make it stick.
Oh, actually, let me fix something real quick.
Okay.
Because I switched to the 1080 profile, but I don't remember if I ever closed OBS to switch to the increased resolution profile. Come on, you can do it. Okay, yeah. Taking in way more data now. Don't know if that'll make it worse or better, but
Only one way to find out.
Mike says she was in Game of Thrones. Oh, really?
Who was?
The woman that plays Saga?
Oh, I didn't watch that
I
show.
can't let the horror story take Logan and Casey. They were dragged into this. They need to survive. Non-negotiable.
Not just them. We need to try to
Like 30
save
seconds.
everyone. I have an idea how to help Casey. He's a real person who I twisted into a character. He isn't my creation, so he isn't a suitable host for the Dark Presence. I can write that into the ending to drive that fucking thing out of him.
Well, if the ending has to fit the story, this is how I see it. Return is a story about a story that comes true. And I'm a character in this story.
Not just a character. The hero.
Okay, a hero. In any case, I've been through hell to be here. And this is my life. It feels earned to me that I rise above the story and be there to create the ending.
Yes. That's what we're doing. Here, now. We're figuring out the ending I need to write.
Yeah, there's something slightly off about the mouth movements and the ADR. It's not quite right. It sort of lines up in most places, but every once in a while it looks like she's saying something different than you're hearing.
They might be doing that on purpose.
And I'm trying to read her lips and listen to her voice at the same time so I don't miss either. And all I can pay attention to is what she's saying, what I'm hearing.
This isn't Scratch's ending. But this isn't your ending either. This is our ending. You aren't the only one deciding these things anymore.
You dingus.
You're right. I can't do this alone. Every time I write, things only get worse.
You beat this thing back in 2010, Alan. And here you are doing the same again. You're a hero too. We're in this together.
Then let's bring it home.
Boy, there's a lot of
The ending will have to be
lot
done,
of these
no matter what.
chats.
The people we save, the greater the cost, and the hero must pay the price.
One of the heroes. The scales always need to balance. Fuck it. Let's go with this.
Are you sure?
There's no time for anything better. Scratch could be here any second.
Then that's our ending. I have the clicker. I'll find a way to get it to you.
And I'll get the pages down. See you on the other side.
Enter the fountain.
The Agua Fountain?
Yep. I'm guessing this is going to be full of water now. Oh, it's just going to do this thing.
It's one of those, what are they called? Overlap. It's an overlap.
It is absolutely an overlap.
Also, the Anderson brothers followed her in. Is that why they were able to make that music video happen? Because I feel like time is kind of fucky here, you know?
Trying to... Oh, there's a staircase.
End of the road.
We are Full motion video now.
Saga, I finished it. The ending we talked about.
I have the clicker and the bullet of light. Let's do this.
Bullet of light.
Show me the bullet of light.
I have to be the one to do it.
I feel like I've always been on this journey. Okay. It must end here. This darkness. What lies under the surface now shifts. A play of shadows catching my eye, thrusting my face into the water. He's here. It's shockingly cold. Past the mirror of the surface. And I will see.
Casey?
The end. Scratch! Now! A white, searing light of truth that for a flash pierces the shadows and reveals the hidden horror. And in that moment of silence, the whispered message finally heard. What if there's nothing waiting to be revealed? The play of shadows fool us all, subterfuge to get our price of admission. Darkness not as a monster, but as emptiness. We're none the wiser. No answers.
Oh, wow.
No truths. The hero turns to look inside. Is destroyed by what he sees, and is redeemed. Saga said we're both heroes. I'll pay that price. So
They're gonna make me pull the
we
trigger.
are here to kill the monster. I pray nothing comes after this. Nothing but sleep.
Okay.
This
Nope.
is how we win. Is it too easy? What if this is still the dark place? Another dream to wake up from, always coming back to the beginning. The memory of what came before burned away by this terrible realization. Maybe it's a mercy, forgetting. To
She's
know
like,
nothing
oh
will
shoot,
loop
there was already
around.
one in the chamber. That wasn't the bullet of light. That was just a bullet.
God damn.
Get lost, Anderson.
You get signal in the dark place, huh?
Yeah.
Anderson.
Don't.
That's credits.
Fuck off, Sam Lake. What does that mean?
So, for the little bit that I know, is that the new game plus mode carries on about 10 seconds more. So you can, whatever happens next, you see it. I don't know if that will give you any answers, any resolution, but
All right, well, we have an hour. Put it on easy mode. Let's slam through it. Let's go.
just sprint through this game.
Let's do it. Let's go.
New game plus easy mode.
That. And they put that in an update. They didn't put this. They didn't put the ending of the game until the New Game Plus update came out then.
Right. They did a Asura's Wrath. The ending of the game came later.
I forgot about that.
We released this game without an ending.
They released it with a fake ending.
Uh-huh.
There was an ending, but it was fake.
Right, but this one you didn't have to buy for $7.
Sam was just doing a little trolling. We like to do a little trolling.
Uh-huh.
This part is just for you.
Watching that lamp.
After the haunting started, I got in touch with an organization that was still looking into what happened in Bright Falls.
Did you
Here we
now?
go.
I went to their offices and something happened there. After I got home, I could suddenly remember everything. I remembered being trapped inside that lake. A dark ocean with echoes of myself, my fears, my photos, inside a dark tide of madness, the same events and images looping again and again. And then I saw a light.
Girl
Your
jumped from the
light.
second floor, made a huge crater.
You dove in just as I swam out. You never drowned. And you're still there reaching out. That is what the haunting is. I can see you because I've been there too. I chose to come back to the dark place. That is why I put on this exhibition.
Wait,
I had
so she
to
didn't
mislead you
beef
so
it?
that I could get you to where you needed to be. The only way out of your loop is destruction or ascension, light or dark. And we've covered the destruction part many times over. And we're getting to the ascension bit by bit. Time means nothing here. You'll still need to go through the loop. But I will keep showing you the images you need to see, the light you need to see, until you're ready. Alan, I think we're getting close.
Huh. I thought she beefed it.
It's not a loop. It's a spiral.
Hmm. Huh.
He's thinking it over.
I'm digesting right now.
Right.
There was TeamSpeak. Because he said because there was Discord.
Right, yeah. And there was Mumble. And Ventrilo, or I think that's the only one I can remember.
The only thing I remember about Mumble is that one video of somebody using a Duke Nukem soundboard and just this person freaking the fuck out. He kept going, balls, balls, balls of steel. And then this other person was just like shrieking and screaming to get them to like, get off my server! Get off my server! Balls of steel.
I used to mean just like Jerky Boys kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's the only thing I know about Mumble.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead and say it now. Special thank. Oh crap! I clicked B instead of A.
Should the final draft.
What the F is that? Oh, is that New Game Plus? I bet that is.
Put
Yeah.
that shit on story mode.
Focus on mystery solving and exploration. This is going to be New Game Plus, isn't it?
I have to know. And I don't own this game,
Back to
so
the beginning.
I have
With the memory of the past loop already fading fast. But while it lingers, I know there's hope. We're
I
not
can't
doomed
remember.
to repeat our failures in an eternal loop.
I can't remember if this is how the
a
last one started.
spiral.
I don't know what I'm looking at here. Rorschach.
A fictional poet once said, "Beyond the shadow you settle for, there is a miracle illuminated. I will not settle for a shadow. I'll find the miracle through the night."
I want to know what happened to Barry Wheeler.
I don't think I saw this the first time I played this game.
I think we did.
It's not just victims and monsters. I see now there are heroes as well.
Okay, this part
We
is
can
more familiar.
find our way through the darkness. We will
Two
break
bears
through the
high-fiving.
surface. We will emerge into the light.
Wait, is that one of the deer I need to go up and pet? Is that why I didn't get all of them?
You didn't wade out into the water and pet that dead deer? Come on,
It's
man.
like the XOF badges in what's it called? Ground Zeroes. You gotta roll around to knock one off of your belt loop.
You turned off nudity, right?
Yeah, I did. See, he's wearing underpants.
So this guy right here was an FBI agent in the first game who was just a real asshole.
Okay.
And the last time you see him, see him get sucked out a doorway. I think I made you look at the door last time we played.
Hold on.
Nightingale is this guy's name.
I'm actually going to go to try and pet that deer. See if that is a thing.
Is that it out there?
Yeah. Oh, I can't get to it. Okay. That answers that question.
You're gonna have to come back here as Saga.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was a total douche.
This Nightingale was?
Yeah. Cause like Sheriff Breaker and not the Breaker that we know in this game, but his sister.
Yeah.
She was just trying to like control the situation, and this guy was like, fire first, ask questions later.
Yep. Ready, fire, aim.
He caused way more problems than he solved.
So I know what's going to happen to this guy. No sense in trying to avoid it. We're obviously not going to get to the end of the story, but it will be neat to see things
With the
with
perspective.
yeah, with future knowledge.
It's also interesting, like, having played the first game now.
Uh huh.
So if it changes more than the start and the end. Oh, I don't know if it does or not. That'd be interesting. Probably not. You probably keep your inventory. That's how New Game Plus works. But
That's true. I have my upgrades.
and you have all those friggin' batteries.
Yeah.
Batteries. But when you play the first game without the knowledge of the subsequent games, you see that guy Emil Hartman, and he's just like this like crazy psychiatrist who's just like he's drugging the Anderson brothers to keep them complacent and like he's obsessed with the lake. But you find out in Control that he used to be an FBC member who left FBC and started his own thing, and
So
then
he's trying to like suppress their powers.
he is trying to obtain the gift that Alan and Thomas Zane received. And he does that by like, you don't see it happen, but after the events of Alan Wake, he jumps into the lake trying to like, look, if I jump in like they jumped in,
A deputy was supposed to be here to show us to the crime
I'll get what they got. But he
There's
just
the
turns
car,
into like
so
a
where's the
taken like
deputy?
shadow monster.
Mhm.
And so the FBC comes along and they capture him and contain him and keep him in the base, but then he gets infected with the hiss, so he's like a third thing. They call him the third thing whenever you fight him in that game.
Sheriff Breaker.
Because he's not a
You're half right. Anderson.
because he's not a taken shadow
Saga
monster and he's
Anderson,
not a
I'll be
hiss
leading
creature
this
because
case.
he fights
Seems you
hiss
already know my
monsters. You see
partner,
him fighting
Alex
him.
Casey.
So Alan Wake literally like shows up and he's like, Emil Hartman has become a third
Were there any
thing.
witnesses?
Yeah. Couple out of towners.
I want to see the body. How do we get there?
Oh, sure. That's real simple.
I think you hear Mulligan's voice on the radio.
Before we
in
get
the
to the
first
crime
game.
scene, there's
I don't
time
think you
to
ever
review
see
the
him,
facts of the case so far.
but you hear his voice on the radio.
The mind play. The facts are on the board.
Oh, you don't get to keep all your old
Everything we know about
facts?
the previous murders.
Oh, you do? You put these up
Worth
before, right?
taking another look.
Some of them. Yeah, this is sort of it teaching me about
Mike
how it works.
Mike says, "Are you sure he was FBC?" Yes, in the files that you find,
Close to cracking
you
it.
find
We're
out that
just getting started.
Emil was
Let's head down the
FBC,
hill to the crime
left
scene.
FBC.
Hey,
When he
Casey,
was
you putting me in
doing what he was
charge.
doing in Alan Wake, he
Why
was
now?
not
Look,
FBC,
Anderson, you're a
but he used to be.
better detective than I am. You've cracked cases that had the rest of us baffled. I don't want to slow you down.
Are you thinking of retiring? You know what happens to cops who say this is their last case.
Another reason why I know that is because you find an exit interview. When he left FBC, they like did an exit interview to make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
he wasn't going to go blabbing.
Okay,
Right.
nature. Gives me a
And he
headache.
didn't go blabbing, but he did use the information he learned from working at the FBC to try to take
Not a bad
possession of
place
this
to
like
get
great
murdered.
power.
If getting back to nature is your
They
thing.
actually arrested him, and they held him for a little bit after the events of
Damn.
Alan Wake.
Oh,
Should have
but-
brought an umbrella.
But they released him, and then that's when he jumped in the lake and became a taken shadow monster.
Feels like home.
got it.
You think the local law had the sense to put up a tarp?
This coffee's on me.
How much clearer can I make it, Mulligan?
I'm gonna go check something out. Be right back.
I think Thornton is another character you hear on the radio
Deputy
in the first game.
Thornton, I take it.
That's me, at your
Over here, pal.
service, ready to get this case solved. Now the body's behind the store. Come on, I'll show you. So, FBI, huh?
You know who else was FBC?
That's so cool.
I couldn't tell you.
Sheriff Breaker's father.
Really?
I'm using Sheriff Breaker as a blanket for both of them.
Okay. Yeah.
He was FBC, and I think after the events of Alan Wake, that's why Sarah Breaker's not the sheriff anymore, because she went and joined FBC.
Okay.
Now, this is
Think
the
that's what I
scene of the
remember?
crime. We found him on the
Google it.
table. And we didn't touch nothing, you know, procedures and stuff.
Thanks, Deputy.
No tarp. You owe me a coffee.
Okay. Let's start by examining our guest of honor. Does this fit the MO of the previous murders? Body is positioned on the table. Ritualistic. Another body turns up just as we arrive in town.
Oh, they're not brother and sister; they're cousins.
Oh, are they?
Tim,
Okay.
Tim and Sarah are.
This whole time, I assumed they were brother and sister.
Me too. While she does not appear, sometime after 2012, Sarah's father died. Later, her cousin Tim had reoccurring dreams about a particular man.
Inside stab
I'm assuming
wound.
that's Door.
Chest cut open.
He had
removed.
police sketches done and sent
Bruising
around.
on the
Sarah
wrist from the
recognized
cargo
it as a
straps
case in
holding him
Bright
down.
Falls in 1988
The killer
when
left
the
the
local
heart right
man
next to the
named
body.
Warland Dorr was struck by lightning near Cauldron Lake and vanished.
Huh.
I don't remember that. Tim moved to Bright Falls to investigate further, eventually taking Sarah's place as sheriff. After she left Bright Falls, she joined, quote, the feds,
Heart removed from chest. Strapped by the wrist.
which is weird. You'd think she would be either in the FBC building or
Who is
in
our victim?
Estevez's squad.
Who
Yeah, that's
killed
true.
him? Need to find more clues. Multiple people were here. Multiple killers? Someone was drinking beer. They spent time here.
It's possible. Oh, okay.
Waiting.
This is more clear on what, quote, the feds means. It's possible that the
Someone left
feds
in a
Sarah
hurry.
joined in question may be
Knocked
the
the
Federal
tripod
Bureau
over.
of Control, as law enforcement
Was it
officers
for a camera?
witnessed
Large
altered
amount of
world
blood on the
events
table.
sometimes get recruited by the agency.
The victim
Sarah's
died
father was sheriff of Bright Falls before being recruited after witnessing the AWE of 1976, which I'm assuming was the
Boot prints indicating multiple killers. Quite
what's
the
his last
party.
name one?
Zane?
Kieran,
Any
yeah,
idea
Thomas
who the
Zane.
victim is?
Kieran
I sure do.
Estevez also recruits FBI agent Sarah Anderson to the FBC. What? When did that happen? That must be spoilers, because I don't remember that.
Learn more about the victim. I think I've done just about everything around here.
Okay, so
So you
the
knew
games never tell
Victim.
us what happens to
Well,
Sarah. It's speculated that she
recognize
joined
him as-
FBC, but her father was FBC.
So what happened to Nightingale after the Bureau let him go?
I only know the rumors.
Nightingale went missing 13 years ago, 2010.
The same as
She gets
all
formally
the other
introduced to the
victims.
FBC or some shit like that. Estevez goes, here's the keys into the documents.
Hmm.
Is that her joining then?
Robert Nightingale, ex-FBI, came to Bright Falls 13 years ago. They
We are
planned
just
for
piecing this
murder to
together at a
happen here.
rapid pace.
It's a real bummer what happened to
Profiling.
Cynthia Weaver too.
Mm.
Because I thought she was just some lady when we
Agent
saw her in
Nightingale
this,
has
but
been
then I saw her
MIA for
backstory
13.
in the first game, and I'm like, oh,
Nightingale
that's
was
sad.
chosen as the
So
victim.
what is it that that happened to her?
She, Thomas Zane and his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure which, who ends up being Barbara Jagger.
The lake is
And
connected
then
Okay, yeah.
the witch took the
somehow.
form of Jagger, but I don't think it was her.
Casey,
Ah, okay.
let's take a look down by the
Uh,
lake.
Basically,
Lead the way.
Cynthia Weaver, when Barbara and Thomas were
Right.
in Bright Falls, she like fell in love with Thomas, but she's like didn't
This
make any
one of your
moves on him or
hunches,
whatever.
Anderson?
And then he got a bunch of stuff happened
I
with
think
him
Nightingale
and the
came
dark
up
place,
from that direction,
and then
from the lake,
he set up this room,
probably looking for shelter, safety.
which is kind of weird to
They
explain
were waiting
because
for him.
When you're ready,
you see
I'd love to hear what you put
you
together
see the
so
light
far.
switch in Alan Wake
Sure.
1. He gives it to
It's not that
he
complicated.
gives it to his wife.
Nightingale
Alan
was out
does.
in the woods alone at night.
But then
possibly
later,
nude.
Alan meets up with
The killers
Cynthia
knew he
Weaver,
was
and she
here,
takes him into this
ambushed
room
him,
that's completely
dragged
filled
him to
with
the
light. There's
campground,
light bulbs
strapped
all
him to
over
the
the place.
table,
She's
pulled his
obsessed
heart out.
with staying in light. She
But then
carries
they
a
were
lamp
interrupted by
Right.
those
around,
witnesses
Uh-huh.
and workers.
and
That makes
like
sense.
she
The
lives
job's
in a
unfinished.
dam. She lives in a room in a dam that's just covered in light all over the place.
This guy doing skinny dipping at
And like
this
the
time
first
of
time you
year?
see her, she's like,
Haven't
"Don't
figured
go in the
that part
dark.
out
It's
yet.
dangerous." And then
Uh-huh.
Alan goes in the dark, meets the witch for the first time, comes back
Lots
out,
of
and she's like,
answers for us
"You
to
got
find.
lucky this time."
Huh.
But she's like obsessed with never being in darkness.
Right? I can
But
see how
in this,
that would be top of mind.
Good to see you still
but
one
in this
piece.
game, she
Forest
is
is a
taken,
dangerous
and you have to
place.
fight her and kill her.
Right. Yeah, I imagine she was obsessed with staying in the light because she knew what would happen if she didn't.
Yeah.
And she either slipped up and found herself in the dark and got
Well,
overcome, or someone tricked her.
Thomas Zane tasked her with keeping this room filled with
I
light
think I saw
safe.
something.
She was
Mhm.
tasked with
It'll
making
only
sure
take
the
a
light
minute.
bulbs got changed so it never
Can't
went
go
dark
any further.
ever. And
Water's
she
too
was
deep.
supposed, her goal was to make sure that eventually Alan Wake shows up and he opens the box in this room of light, and inside the box is the clicker. Don't know how the clicker got there when he had already given it to Alice in a different flashback.
Didn't know
Like,
trees got
A
It's-
witch with no heart. A strange
that's her.
echo of Al murder.
There's Barbara.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's her.
I didn't realize that's who the witch was.
But that was her whole like deal. It's like her job was to make sure that room
There's a piece of
never
paper on
went
the
dark.
ground.
So when Alan Wake showed up
Tracks.
in
Barefoot.
2010, keep in mind the
Nightingale.
Thomas Zane stuff happened in the 70s.
Right.
When Alan Wake showed up in
Someone's
2010,
been
that he
watching
could
us.
get into that room and
plain
get the switch out of the box.
game with
Was Zane or Alan to instruct her though?
Nightingale came this
Zane,
way.
she said that Zane told her
Either
to
he
do
dropped
this.
this page, or the killers left it for us. I think he came from the lake. But his
And I
tracks
guess
make no
maybe
sense.
after Alan, she finished her task. She stopped being obsessed with being in light,
Mhm.
and then she got taken.
We
Right.
found a page in the woods. A story about
Uh,
I know it's just sad because like this task that she was given that she succeeded in, and now she's just like a taken monster.
yep.
Sucks.
She did everything she could to stave it off, but
Found all I can here.
It's
Time
a
to
it's a losing battle.
Mike says, but
I see.
but what
I
really
think something's
happened?
been
I
planted
can't
overnight into his
tell
body.
you. I
Let's tell the
don't know.
deputies to get the body to the town morgue.
Okay.
Gotta get to the waterfront, and I don't know where the frickin' waterfront
Whoever
is.
wrote that page made sure it read like a story. Like a scene from a thriller.
I hate all of it.
Oh,
The text said we'd
I'm on the Alan Wake wiki just learning shit right now.
Okay.
What's the purpose?
The
They're twisting events to
the
create their own
submarine
narrative to
Big
do
Daddy. I don't want to say
what?
submarine because that's not true. But the like deep
Entertain
sea
some
diver
fantasy?
Big
Oh,
Daddy
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Projecting
Thomas
their
Zane.
desires?
Okay.
That's called the Bright
Are we
Presence.
characters or the audience?
All right.
Witnesses to their
Right
design?
presence.
The Bright
All the
Presence is a
above?
mysterious supernatural entity that originates from the alternate dimension known as the Dark Place, taking the form of Thomas Zane. The
Too
Bright Presence
late.
guides Alan
I'm
in his
already
battles
hooked.
against its
the
antithesis,
next
the Dark
chapter.
Presence, with which it had been locked in constant battle for eternity. Alan utilizes the Bright
Did you know
Presence's
this
power in
entire
his journey,
area is
using
inside
the
a
light to
caldera?
banish darkness from the
This
taken
whole
and defeating
mountain
them.
used to be an active volcano. Imagine the force it took to carve this crater out of the earth.
About
Calderas
that,
are pretty
listen
rare,
to
so be
Lost
sure
at
to take
Sea.
it in.
It's
So, essentially, we're standing in the gaping
let me
maw
find that.
of hell.
I'm not gonna listen to it
You
right now.
got
I
it.
will.
You made it back.
I used to
Good.
love geology
Alan
when I was in
Wake.
school.
Lost.
I helped
at
Logan build a
Sea.
great baking soda volcano for her science fair.
Cheating on a
It is
science
an Alan Wake
fair?
2 song.
That's almost a crime, Anderson.
I'm not gonna say no to quality time with a volcano. I mean, my daughter.
I hope you didn't get stuck in any of those big puddles. Crazy flooding down there, huh?
But I
Just
will
like
I will
said.
listen to this song.
Deputy, I want the body taken back to town for a proper examination ASAP.
Well, sure, but back to the parking lot just up the hill.
Oh. Okay.
Thanks.
Eventually, the Dark Presence sought
Let's
to
get
make
the
itself
car.
manifest
Drive to
in the
Bright
real world,
Falls
taking
and
advantage
talk
of
to
the
these
poet
witnesses,
named Thomas
the
Zane.
bookers.
Zane's lover, Barbara Jagger, drowned in Cauldron Lake.
Let's
The
try
portal
that
between the
shortcut
Dark
deputy
Place and
mentioned.
reality,
Sounds
the
good.
Dark Presence,
Seems like a nice
inadvertently
town so
aided
far.
by
Notice
Emil
aside.
Hartman, enticed
Pretty woods.
Zane to use the
Pretty
Dark...
lodge we got set up in.
Hey, Steve.
We should go for a hike if we get a
Enticed
chance.
Zane to use the Dark Place's power to write Barbara back to life.
Deputies aren't exactly
That's where the
up to
witch came from.
task, but
I remember
hopefully
that
the
now.
sheriff will be more helpful.
However, when Barbara returned, her body had been possessed by the Dark Presence. Realizing his mistake, Zane vowed to
Can't fit
undo the
clues
damage he
all
had done.
together yet.
Zane
Heart
used his poetry to erase
tripod,
himself and Jagger from
tracks
reality,
leading to a dead end.
descending deep into the Dark Place and encountering the two presences. So the
Maybe.
Dark Presence was Barbara,
why
and
take
the
out his
white
heart
light
just to
presence
throw it
was Zane.
Zane. Huh.
In order to maintain balance, Zane gave away his body to... Okay, maybe that's why Zane looks like Alan then, because he doesn't have a corporeal form.
I wanna
Zane
walk
gave away
around
his
for a
body
minute.
to the Bright Presence as he and Jagger descended deeper and vanished into the lake forever. The Bright Presence, still controlling Zane's body, continued to use its light to aid
Here
in the
we are.
fight against the Dark Presence.
Let's drive back to town.
When
and
the
meet
Dark
sheriff.
Presence attempted to use Alan Wake to take over the world, the Bright Presence, appearing as
I can't
Zane,
get that
taught
manuscript
Alan
page
how
out
to
of my
fight the
head.
Dark Presence and its
I've never
power
seen
by
killers
using the
reach out
light
so
to kill
directly
the Taken.
before.
In the end, Alan
Canon
used his
presence
writing to
works
save
so
Bright
far.
Falls from the Dark Presence, trapping himself
With your
in the
technique,
Dark Presence
these
in the
punches
process,
were
where the
moving
Bright
fast.
Presence continued to aid him in his survival.
The diner's just up the waterfront.
Mike says
Shouldn't
that
keep the
song,
sheriff and
Lost
our
at
witnesses
Sea,
waiting.
is a
I
bit
smell
depressing, but
coffee.
good.
So, I don't think I have any of my objects. So this is not what I would call a new game plus. I guess that's why they called it the final
This is
chapter.
Spiral
I'm gonna go
continued.
check something
Right,
out.
yeah.
Be right back.
Got it.
So sleepy.
And then just fucking disappear, apparently. Bright Presence, not that useful. Yeah, the Bright Presence just... I don't know what happens in American Nightmare or the 2 DLCs for Alan Wake 1, because I haven't played them yet. But it kind of just seems like the Bright Presence goes away after Alan Wake traps himself in the Dark Presence.
Mhm.
or it manifests itself in the what we see Thomas Zane as now, which is just another Alan.
Right.
Let me guess.
And after
The
Alan
FBI.
kills the witch at the end of
Welcome to
Alan Wake
Bright
1,
It's
Barbara
nice to
just
have you
fucking
here.
disappears.
I got to go some coffee.
Look at this guy
Washington's finest.
having fun
Nice
in
to
reality.
meet you, Sheriff.
Not humming
set
a
for
weird,
coffee.
creepy song.
You know,
Yep.
I wouldn't say no to another.
Your deputies said you had a couple of witnesses here.
They made them sound like suspect.
Good to see you.
I can't believe
Okay,
that.
before you
Excuse
talk
me.
to them,
Oh,
it's okay. It's okay.
I can pause it.
No, I wanted to see something, but
Oh.
just
I'm
get through
Agent
this
Saga
conversation.
Anderson. Are you the Bookers?
That's us. I'm Tammy, and
Keep going.
In
So
that
what did you
hallway
see
to
in
your
the
left.
woods?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
just get out of this
This
conversation.
naked dude.
This is
came
the
out of-
first time. This is the place where you first meet Cynthia. She's standing on the edge of this hallway, looking down that dark hallway. Just go, don't go down there. It's scary. And I'm
Oh,
wondering,
in Alan Wake 1?
yes.
Whoa.
So I'm wondering what's down that hallway.
The restrooms.
Yeah, it was the restrooms in the first one, and then you turn left, and then the witch is literally standing down here the first time you see her.
Huh.
Oh, you can actually go in the bathroom in this game. It was
We got a
locked
bath-
in the first game.
Look at a bathroom.
So the witch is like standing right here, and she gives you the key to this cabin, which ends up being not real, and she steals Alice and all that stuff. Cynthia's
Gotcha.
standing down this hallway looking down when you come back. Oh my god. And she's like, you got lucky this time.
Hey there, Mr. Deer. You remind me of a dream I had.
What does that mean?
No clue what that means. Oh man, look at that.
Also, we don't know if Casey and Saga got out of the Dark Presence.
What makes
What
you
the
say
heck?
it was a cult?
Yep.
the mask.
Breaker
the
got
knives
Mr.
aren't
Door,
enough.
Saga got Mr. Deer.
Deer.
What were you doing at Cauldron Lake last night?
I'm
I
alright.
want so badly to click on this
True
Warland
crime.
Door article, but I'm worried about spoilers.
Mhm.
I've seen the end of the game. He's only in this game. There's no spoilers.
The cult of the tree. What are the Bookers?
I'm
were at
curious
Cauldron
about where
Lake.
we learned this little tidbit. Sometime after 2010, Tim Breaker began having reoccurring dreams in which he lived in a different life in a different world with a different name. And the only constant in all of them being Mr. Door, who would
So you
use
found
various
something there, right?
different disguises.
A
Tim,
necklace
when
these
did we learn
cultists may
that?
have dropped.
Okay.
Possible relationship with Saga Anderson. Significant evidence
Hope you not
indicates
keep that
that Mr. Door is Saga Anderson's missing father. Though this is yet to be confirmed outright, this would make Door the husband of Freya Anderson and the son/nephew-in-law to Tor and Odin Anderson, who left or disappeared from the family under uncertain circumstances during Saga's early childhood.
That's
We're dealing with an
Wild.
organized. The cult of the tree is behind these murders.
Mike, oh yeah, big brain
I need to know
time.
more about the cult of
Your
the
brain
tree
is
if I'm going
huge,
to
Mike. It's not it's so wrinkly
Mhm.
and huge. In Control, Dylan Faden mentions that he encountered a man who called himself Mr. Door while in a dream. This is the first time we ever hear about Door, by the way.
uh-huh.
Dylan says that in the dream he was in a dark place and met a dark man there. That's racist. There, Mr. Door, who explained to him the existence of the multiverse, many worlds side by side on top of each other, some inside of others. Mr. Door also said that he himself existed in every world at once,
Let's go.
endlessly shifting between them.
Well, Casey,
Dylan wanted
I
to
got a
spread
lead.
the hiss throughout the
Looks like we're
multiverse
dealing
and
with a
asked
cult.
Door how to reach the other
The cult
worlds.
of the
Door
tree.
refused to tell him. Did he just say the F word on
He
our
did.
Christian Twitch channel?
Yep.
To be honest, one of the Andersons said her father was a mysterious man and blah 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 blah. I'll bet you that it's eventually going to come out that
how's that
that's the case.
business of yours
This is the
going?
same symbol as that
You miss
cult
your
necklace.
trivia night?
But like, Think about how threatening Door was to Alan in that one interaction they had. He was like, "You brought in people that I care about."
Thanks for all the nice weather.
And then they literally said, "I don't need to worry about this right now." That's what they did to Scratch in the first one.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, Door's going to be the bad guy in the third one.
Anderson is here with all that good weather she brought with her.
Door number 3.
The boy was like, "I'm going to fuck you up." And then he didn't.
I would like to get into the police station, if and you don't mind. Oh, I beat them here.
you got to wait for them.
Hey, boss. Corpse is downstairs ready to go.
Yep.
According
in the
to
morgue, all
Jason
fresh.
I'd
Schreier
like to take a closer
Yeah.
look as
on
soon
the
as possible.
podcast Triple Click,
Lead the way, Sheriff.
Lance Reddick, who played Martin Hatch from Quantum Break,
Yep.
was intended to play Mr. Door prior. Mr. Hatch? Martin
Yeah.
Hatch?
Yep.
Door? I got to play Quantum Break.
There was I that's not the first time I had heard that Lance Reddick was gonna be Mr. Door.
So we share a
Who
morgue
played
with
Martin
human
Hatch
next
from
door.
Quantum
It's a
Break was
secret
intended to play
budget.
Mr. Door prior to his passing
I
in
guess
March
you guys don't have that
2023.
problem, though. Our only corner
It
rotates
is
between
possible
the other towns
Mr.
and
Door
conspiracies,
is
so
a
you can handle this
callback
yourself.
to
I'm
shifter
qualified to
Martin
perform
Hatch from
examinations.
Quantum Break,
Yes.
portrayed by the late Lance Reddick. Warlin and Martin are similar spelling. Tim Breaker's whiteboard about Door evidently compares synonyms to doors, gates, portals, port, opening, access, window. Martin Hatch, by contrast, wrote in a note, "I stand between. I don't see myself as a gate. I remain humble. I'm something smaller, a hatch."
Right.
Tim Breaker's character was also the main character in Quantum Break.
Yep.
Tim Breaker is. Oh, maybe that's why he keeps having dreams about him.
Huh.
I'm connecting dots in my brain right now.
You are.
It doesn't
Big
budge.
brain.
Tim Breaker is described as Door's unwilling
Okay.
disciple in
Let's
a
take a look at our
manuscript page
patient.
paralleling how
I'll start
Quantum
with the
Break
external
ends
inspection
with
before
protagonist
performing the
Jack
internal
Joyce
examination.
becoming Hatch's protege. Both Tim and Jack are portrayed by Sean Ashmore. Oh, and they have
Time
the
to see
police
what
sketch
negative
of
body can tell us.
Mr. Door that Tim Breaker had made.
Yeah.
What was the cause of death?
To be honest, I think this game doesn't have an objective
They did leave
as the
something
first one
inside
did.
his chest. This looks like text.
Because in the first game you gotta save
tattoo?
Alice and kill the witch.
Didn't strike me as
Here something just goes on.
The body shows signs of
I think the
being
goal is to
submerged in
save
water
Alan.
Post-mortem.
defensive wounds.
Right?
He put up a fight.
It's either to like save Alan or break the cycle or
Yeah, but you start with Alan out of the lake. Yeah.
Chest wound is cause of death, but the corpse is bloated, waterlogged. Doesn't add up.
I got everything. Oh,
There's
the
writing
heart.
on here. There's definitely something in his chest.
What do you think's in his chest, Logan?
The cube. I forget what it's called in Transformers.
Oh, the Allspark.
Yeah, the Allspark. In Alan Wake, Scratch first appeared alongside Alan Wake, who entered the Dark Place in order to free his wife Alice from the Dark Presence in 2010. Thomas Zane, who knew Alan was going to trade places with Alice and be trapped in the Dark Place, created Scratch as Alan's doppelganger to take his place in the real world.
Gotta get it back.
Thomas introduced him to Alan as Mr. Scratch and explains that Alan's friends would meet Scratch after he's gone. Scratch's name would be said out loud, would only sound like a muffled scratching sound. I don't remember that. He literally just shows up and then he's like, "Oh, don't mind him." Maybe that's DLC stuff that I
He
missed.
knocked my gun out of the room. I need to find it.
I would. If I leave the light, he's gonna see me.
Feet sound so wet.
Can I crouch? Oh.
To be honest, I think they reconnected Scratch between 1 American Nightmare 2. Oh,
This was
they
supposed to be story mode.
This is not how the story goes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see what he's saying. To be honest, I think they retconned Scratch between 1 American Nightmare and 2. He retconned, not reconnected. I read that wrong. Because if you play it, there's clearly something missing. Yeah, but I don't remember this bit about him being created by Thomas to replace Alan. I don't remember that at all. They didn't even say that. They just said, "Oh, that's Mr. Scratch. Don't worry about him."
My gun's out in the hall. Gotta get it back.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't supposed to get stuck there the last time.
Also, do you think they're gonna make Max Payne remakes connect Max Payne to the Remedyverse?
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, in the cutscene they just go, "He's Scratch, your friend. Your friend will meet him when you're gone." Isn't Max Payne owned by Take-Two? I don't know.
That's the whole problem.
I know that Remedy is doing remakes though of the first 2 Max Payne. I don't know about the third one.
But he still got up.
Max Payne
it helped me
is
It's
Rockstar,
published by Rockstar, Take-Two, Gathering developers, Maxsoft.
We need to figure that out.
Developers, Rockstar, Remedy Entertainment.
Somehow we need to make sense of this.
Something called More. Oh,
there's no rational explanation to what we
just
saw.
It's an expander.
I'd love to
It's not a
bring
company.
some
I'm a doofus.
The victim of a
Yeah, it seems to be a Rockstar thing,
turns into a monster.
which is owned by
Is there a
Take-Two.
connection?
Looks to me like the cult of the tree.
Or Remedy makes it.
Right.
They're the
And
dead.
so there's the whole argument over we want to make more, but
And I don't know much about Max Payne, but I don't really know how they could connect it to the Remedyverse. It's like a different thing.
that's what you think.
The killers are usually the ones performing the ritual, not the detective. Acting out their sick fantasy. They may be trying to get you involved, forcing you into their twisted world.
It's like Quantum Break. Remedy did it, but it's a Microsoft IP. Oh,
Mhm.
really? Is that why that's not really connected?
Again, the whole problem of why they can't make direct references to what happens.
That's silly.
Where does this go? Okay, there we go.
I want to know what happened to Barry Wheeler. And I'm worried I'm going to spoil American Nightmare or something if I look into it.
Well, you will. All information is
Right before
spoilers.
things got crazy, Sheriff Breaker just vanished.
Jesse's
Maybe the
actress
sheriff
was in
knew
Quantum
what he was
Break.
letting on.
I didn't know that. I need to play that game.
Look around for clues.
Barry.
On the floor.
Saga was back at Cauldron Lake. Saga had to
Barry
pursue
Wheeler.
Nightingale into the overlap. A ritual. Saga would learn how. Stop the monster.
Barry does not appear in Control. However, the Federal Bureau of Control's case file on Bright Falls AWE, the 2010 event as seen in Alan Wake, mentions Barry. The FBC was alerted to the AWE by Frank Breaker. That's Sarah's father. Who had been alerted by Barry, as depicted in Night Springs. I don't know what Night Springs.
The page places Nightingale back at Cauldron Lake.
Barry is mentioned in
Calls
more
him a
detail in the AWE expansion. A
We need to
hotline
head
message
over there
from
and
Alan
stop
Wake
him
confirms
before
that
anyone else
Barry
gets hurt.
had helped the old gods of Asgard set up their return comeback tour. However, after 2 concerts, he became concerned that the Anderson brothers' deteriorating health and canceled the rest of their tour. He used the money
Did you get
from the
spooked by the
tour
bodies?
and released
Sheriff Breaker
the
disappeared.
Old Gods of
Nightingale
Asgard's
turned
greatest
into
hit
some sort of
album
a
found
monster and their
in
office
the
is down.
Valhalla
You
Nursing
two
Home
handle things here. We
as a
need to get back to
retirement
Cauldron Lake
home
immediately.
for the
Fuck
brothers in
me.
2014.
That's terrible. We'll do what
Barry
we
does
can.
not appear in Alan Wake 2. However, during Alan's second visit to Parliament Tower via the initiation manuscript ritual, Barry is mentioned several times in Alice's documentary. She states that Barry began visiting her at Parliament Tower in New York City a few months after Alan's, quote, death in 2010, and even cooked for her a few
Nightingale and his
times.
cult are
Alice had
dangerous.
been traumatized
We
by
need
the
to be
events at
prepared in
Bright
case
Falls,
things
and
escalate more
Barry
than they
tried to
already
keep her
have.
company. Alice says
We
that
call
she
it in,
did not
Casey.
like him at first, but came to view him as in a better light over time, and that she still keeps in touch. That he still keeps in touch with her, even though she has moved out west, away from New York. In May 2012, Barry says that he
The pages
has been
haven't
staying
known
at the
yet.
Blessed Wellness Retreat, a place run by a miracle worker man named Chester. What is
I
this?
need to come clean, Anderson. I know why Nightingale was here
Did you
13
click
years
on a
ago.
different
No,
wiki?
I'm still reading the Barry Wheeler stuff. It's talking about stuff I do not remember. I know that the Blessed Wellness
The
Retreat
page says Nightingale's
is
in
the
something
place
called
owned
an
by Emil
overlap.
Hartman, I think.
Need to
Like
figure
says,
out
turns out you're reading a
exactly what that
fanfic.
means.
I'm happy I'm not in charge of this.
Alice
Thanks.
X
I
Barry
was
Let's
just gonna
start looking
say
for Nightingale
fanfic.
where he was
Uh-huh.
killed.
Casey X Reader.
The writer of these pages
Barry
knows
is
what
voiced
will
by
happen.
Fred Freeman, who
Because they're
also
behind
voiced
this,
Vinny
or because they can see
Gugliotti
what's coming.
in Max Payne
Impossible
2,
things
Fall
are
of Max
happening
Payne.
here.
Huh.
A world
I
operating
didn't
on
play that
different
game, so I don't know
rules.
that character.
I need to understand this strange logic. To see the clues.
Barry shares a few similarities
Solve
with
the
Emil
case.
Hartman. They both assist a writer and both feel that the writer's
I've been
partners
thinking more
are
about the call of
negatively
the tree.
influencing them. In this case,
What sort of cult
Alice and Barbara.
refers to themselves
This
as a
is
cult?
also continued in Alan Wake 2 as Barry opens the Valhalla Nursing Home
We're
in
not
Bright
seeing the full
Falls,
picture yet.
similar in appearance and function to the Cauldron Lake
A
Lodge
lot of
opened by
things
Emil
about this
Hartman.
case keep bothering me. But one thing feels really off.
So what is this other thing
Breaker's
then?
disappearance.
What is the Blessed Wellness Retreat?
That I
don't get the
don't know.
feeling
I don't think
Nightingale
I've
was
ever heard that name.
The Blessed organization is a name given by the Federal Bureau of Control to a number of supposed para-criminal people and organizations related to a string of events with dangerous altered item, in which dangerous altered items were distributed to unsuspecting innocents. It is unknown if an individual or group is responsible for the events or if the source is human. What does this have to
No
do with
sign of
Barry
Nightingale.
Wheeler?
But the page
You're just
did
getting
place him at Cauldron
farther
Lake.
and farther and farther from reality.
So how
Hold
do
on,
we
I need to go
follow
back
him
to the
there?
Wheeler page. In May 2012, Barry says that he had
Casey,
been staying at the
you
Blessed
look for any
Wellness
further
Retreat,
clues here.
a place run by a miracle
I can
worker
feel
named
something.
Chester. Who's Chester?
A presence.
Chester Bless. Mr. Bless is
Nightingale is
Chester
a boy.
Bless ran a self-help course in 1994 called The Power of the Board. Oh. In which involved the Guru surfboard altered item. When the FBC raided Chester's home in Los Angeles, they found out the house was empty and he had disappeared, with the surfboard being the only thing left behind. Due to the nature of the incident and Chester's last name, the FBC linked Chester to the Blessed organization.
So there's a surfboard object of power.
It was a altered item.
Okay, right.
Which is a weaker
What is that?
object of
These
power.
aren't the same tracks that were here before. They're headed into the tree.
Okay. So Barry was at one of the
flashlight
Blessed
burned the dark
Wellness
stuff.
retreats in May 22, a place ran by a miracle worker named Chester, in
Saga
which he
stepped
jokingly
into the witch's
described
hut.
as a cult. He
Inside,
claims the
a bright
retreat
light.
made him feel
There
much
were
better
objects that stood out
and
to
that he
Saga,
also lost
as if
lots
the
of
light
weight.
had manifested
Chester
them.
told him that something
The witch's
bad
hut.
would have happened to him if he
Okay.
had stayed in New York. He believed
the pages to
Chester.
lead me to the overlap.
He also reveals that the FBC had tried to interview him. An email from March 2023 has Barry telling Alice that the Hollywood studio wants that the Hollywood Studios wants to turn the events around Alan's disappearance into a movie, a TV show, or even a video game. Well, that's not going to work. Nobody's going to play that.
Not a chance.
But Barry refused to let this happen. He also
need to
tries to
figure
let
out where
Alice know
Nightingale
about
went.
Tammy Booker,
Mm-hmm.
who's writing a true crime book about Alan's disappearance, and also says that he threatened to sue her publisher As of at least May 2023, Barry is serving as executive producer on the film series.
Light is the key to
Um,
stay safe. But for something more to
Tammy
be
and
revealed as
Ed
well.
Booker. Oh, those are the
I know
people who were at the
Nightingale is
diner.
somewhere around
Uh-huh.
Cauldron
Right.
Lake.
Okay, I know who they are now.
I keep forgetting their first and last name.
Okay,
need
let
to
me catch
find
up
the
on
witch's
chat.
hut.
See, in Control, they imply that a god is important only as much as people worship it, which doesn't make a lot of sense as the FBC already works with the board. Maybe the board is not all good. I think that's pretty
This is
much
the
heavily
witch's hut.
implied during the Foundation DLC. Because even Jesse's like, I straight up do
This
not
feels
trust the
like
board. I'm
busted.
going to go along with what they say right now, but I do not trust the board. That's the
Yeah.
sentiment at the end of the Foundation DLC.
Right.
All right.
I'm going along with this because I have no other option, but
Yeah, that's pretty much where the end of that DLC ends off. Where
Mhm.
she's just like, I'm doing it because I need to. I don't really have a
This one looks
choice,
good.
but I
People
am
should
not
really
going to
stop littering,
stay
though.
trusting these fellas.
right.
And I also think that the board is not
Is that a
benevolent.
kid's
They're
lunchbox?
selfish.
And Alex
They're
can't
definitely
see
out for their own.
lunchbox.
I don't want to say selfish. Selfish
Does he
isn't
hate-
the right word, but they're out for their
While
own
coincidentally
gain
having the same name as a fake detective.
for sure. Also,
He
they're
hates
the ones who
those
make
juicy
objects of
graphics.
power and
But he really hates the
altered
movies.
items. At least that's what the documents in Control say. Because the
Paige
way
described
objects
the
of
hut being
power and
lit
altered items
and mentioned
come
a
to be
fuse.
is that it's like human belief. Human
Oh, okay.
belief is such a strong force that it can be channeled into real world items and cause them to have all these abilities.
Right.
Which is why I think the light switch. I think that's why Alan is definitely a para-utilitarian, and the switch is an object of power
Another
because when Alan was a kid, he was afraid of the dark, and his mom was like, "Here's this switch." I think when his mom gave it to him, it was just a regular switch. But Alan, as a para-utilitarian,
His belief in it empowered it.
poured all of this power into this item.
Right.
And that's why I think I haven't seen any evidence about that in the game, but that's just what I'm hypothesizing.
I mean, that wouldn't be a first. I'm pretty sure that's a Warhammer thing. Brandon knows more about that than I do.
I
There's
don't know
a
anything about
certain
Warhammer.
faction in Warhammer that gets their all their power by their absolutely unwavering belief in supernatural things, that it basically manifests because they believe them so much.
Right.
Like
Mike
they
says,
believe
I wonder...
they can believe they can shoot fire out of their hands, so they just do, and there's no explanation for it other than we believe we can, so we can.
Mike says, I wonder what the alternatives would be, because the only all-important entities for now have been the board, the Dark Presence, the Former, and the Hiss and Polaris. That's it.
Mhm.
The page from the witch's hut seems to be describing some
Yeah,
kind of-
Polaris and the Hiss and Hedron are resonance entities. They exist in vibrations. The reason why people react to the hiss the way they do is because they
get
get
into
this
the
resonance
overlap,
inside
I
their
need to
head
find
and it
Nightingale.
alters them. It's the same thing with Polaris and Hedron.
Nightingale's heart disappeared from
They
the
like
morgue.
exist as like
Where is it now?
resonance vibrations.
Hmm.
The board is like an alternate dimension group, maybe not
Maybe
group,
Casey
of
moved lunchbox
entities
out
that
here
are like
again.
just want to control stuff.
Right.
And the former is like, they don't outright say it, but they heavily imply that the former used to be a part of the board, and now the board hates him and they've cast him off. And
Mhm.
when you fight the former as a mini boss, it's
I need Nightingale's
attached
heart to get
itself
to the
to an
overlap.
altered item and making the altered item act up.
Nightingale's heart. Where
So then
is
when
it?
you go to fix it, you all of a sudden are put into the astral plane. You have to fight the former and you fix it. That's the refrigerator that does
Oh.
that. And also a rocking horse does it too. No, it's a pink flamingo, not a rocking
Okay.
horse.
Oh yeah. Well, of course. Yeah.
Then the Dark Presence. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. Because it's like,
I need to check the general
Did
store
Thomas
for the
Zane
heart.
invent the dark presence and the light presence? Because
Casey,
from what I
I'm
read
headed
on
to
this
the general
Wikipedia
store.
on
I think I know how to get into the
alanwake.fandom.com, it makes it seem like the dark presence was formed because of the resurrection of Barbara.
Did you get lost?
Lost once in my life,
What's her last name? Jagger.
Years I spent with
Mhm.
my
But
hands
also, it might not be created because of that. It just inhabited the resurrected body because of his abilities to write things into existence with his poetry.
Right.
Um, I think that the former is just an ex-member of the board, and the board is just made up by formers. Yeah, I think that is also the case, but they never outright say. But they're still entities. Also, is Hedron and Polaris the same? Because it appears so. I don't think so. I think what is happening is Hedron
A monster. Like
existed in this alternate world, and Polaris is what was put in Jesse's head.
Uh huh.
Because after Hedron dies,
The text
oh,
on
there's
the
that
heart is
heart.
clearer now.
Yeah.
I feel like I
After
recognize this.
Hedron dies,
Fridge.
Polaris is like
And now I need to get the heart to the witch.
Polaris was being
Makes total
broadcast
sense.
because it's a frequency, was being broadcast from Hedron. Hedron dies, Polaris disappears, Jesse gets consumed by the hiss. But then she starts navigating inside her own mind and she finds Polaris inside herself. So instead of Hedron broadcasting Polaris, now Jesse is broadcasting Polaris. And everybody who had those like Hedron
Like protection units.
yeah, what are they called? They're called the Hedron. They're called the HRAs. I don't remember what the
Okay.
Hedron resonance aperture something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're called HRAs. When Hedron dies, all of those things stop working, and everybody who was wearing them gets consumed by the hiss also.
Huh.
But then
Okay.
Jessie finds Polaris inside herself.
Casey,
She
there are
starts
cultists in
projecting the
area.
Polaris
They're
frequency,
taken, like
and
Nightingale.
the HRAs
Watch
come
yourself
back,
out there.
and the hiss is driven out of everybody who's wearing them.
You have the worst sense of direction.
Someone has to make the dark presence, though. I feel like it just came in a ride in
Okay.
Barbara's body. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's probably the
I'm en
case.
route to Witch's Ladle. I need to perform a ritual.
And I
to
don't
open the
think
overlap.
it's Door either.
This case just keeps
I think
getting
Door's just
weirder.
in it.
But it
I don't
is
think we know.
exciting.
I don't think we know the depths that the dark presence, what the dark presence is. I've been talking a lot about Alan Wake for the last hour.
I'm just trying to get through this story.
Uh,
I can't remember where the sign is, and I
This-
gotta put the clicker in.
this story is just so good. I'm ate up with it. You showed me Control, and I was done.
Yeah. Well, it all started with the whole SCP stuff, and I was like, "Oh, Logan's into this. Like, he at least has a fundamental familiarity with this
What's
kind
going
of,
on? This
Yeah,
kind of
well-
organization.
yeah, this sort of like behind the scenes. We do our work all the time so that normal people have no idea we exist.
So
Like it-
so the normal quote exists.
Right. So that like if we do everything right, no one has any idea this place even exists or these
And
problems.
That's exactly what FBC does.
Right. And the only time they sort of get stressed out is when things move
Containment
out of their
breaks.
control. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's not really connected, but I think you should look up Voices of the Void. It's a signal simulator type game. Voices of the Void.
Huh.
That sounds cool, just by the name. Voices of the Void. Is there a setting in the settings that lets you just like not die?
No. I mean, you can make it
there
easy.
Monsters.
There was one in Control where basically you just your health
there-
regenerates
there-
super fast.
There might be gameplay difficulty. Is there a difficulty?
Voices of the Void pre-alpha. Itch.io. Oh, I've seen this. I've seen on TikTok actually. This
Okay.
does look really cool. It's really creepy. I do want to play this, and I didn't
There
know
you are.
that's what this game was.
All right, here we are.
Barbara, you goddamn witch.
Okey-doke.
I'm also curious
I think I'm
because
in the
in the AWE
still on your
expansion
way?
for Control,
Casey.
Alan is like
Casey, do you
reaching
need
out
me?
to Jesse
Logan?
and not really
Logan! Where are
communicating with Jesse, but is writing about Jesse, and Jesse's hearing what he's writing about.
Oh, okay.
Logan's back
Like he never
in Virginia.
directly speaks to Jesse. He writes
You're
about her,
imagining
and
things.
she hears what he's writing.
Yeah, that sort of sounds
Because-
like what we're doing.
In the motel, in the Sunset Motel or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
There's
Heartbreak
a
Hotel.
there's a door, and it's not
What was that?
Warlin. It's just a door.
All right, gotcha. An actual door.
And it's got the spiral on it, which is connected to this game.
No, this
And
is right.
she can like peek through
This is
and
insane.
see what Alan is
Like a
doing
nightmare.
in the dark place, which makes
Oh.
me think that like going through those light switch zones to go to the motel and then back out the other end, maybe that's connected to the dark presence somehow,
Right.
or at least the place where the dark presence exists. I don't know if those are not one and the same or not, but at the end of the DLC, they get like the AWE warning that something's happening, but it's like coming from the future
Uh-huh.
because Alan wrote it to be that way. And Jesse literally says if whatever's going on with Alan, he's gonna need help. Which made it seem like, you know, the FBC was gonna come charging in. But Estevez says that they're still in lockdown.
here.
That was in 2019. It's 2023 right now. They've been in lockdown for years, dealing with
Yeah.
that hiss containment. So, I'm guessing that was like referencing Saga then, and not really the FBC.
Who is that? It's like they're coming in over a bad signal. Nightingale's badge.
I would like to pick it up, if at all possible. Okay, I guess that's all I'm doing there.
Like it says, basically you have to keep a base, have to upkeep a base while receiving signals from space and stuff, and sometimes stuff happens. Yeah, I saw a
Uh-huh.
video on TikTok about it where like the power went out and like this large creature was looming over the distance, but it didn't go to the base. It like walked past. It was really freaky looking.
I remember this fight. I hope it's easier this time.
Should be. Yeah, this dude has a different attitude this time around.
I don't want to run. I want to get the stuff out of the
Get to
thing.
safety.
You gotta get to safety, man. Box first, safety later.
Oh, there's so much stuff now. There's so much more stuff in this
Do you
playthrough.
think they're increasing the spawn rate of stuff?
Yeah.
Take your stupid log and go.
Stupid Ren and Stimpy log. I'm completely turned around. Nope, I've been here.
So I did a Google for Alan Wake Nightingale,
Uh-huh.
and I got some Reddit posts.
All right.
Who else hates Agent Nightingale so much? Second one, what is Nightingale's problem? Third one, what's
Sick
the
of this
deal?
dude.
What's the deal with Nightingale? Third post is a picture of Mac pointing a picture of Nightingale on the wall. It's like, I'm sick of this dude. He is. Like, he causes so much problems. There's a part where Alan is like, I need to go talk to that radio guy. You know, you meet him in the retirement home. He's running like that ham radio station or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's running like a full broadcast in Alan Wake 1. And Alan's like, I need to go talk to him because he can help me with my problems. And Alan shows up. And then the dude who doesn't know that he's being chased by the police and the FBI at the time is like, oh, looks like we got a visitor at the studio. Alan Wake just walked up. And then like 2 seconds later, the cops show up. And then Nightingale immediately jumps out of the car and starts firing through the window at Alan through this dude's house.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because it's not like a studio. It's like this guy's house where he has a radio broadcast studio off the side.
Yeah.
Like Nightingale shows up, jumps out of the car, and starts shooting through the window at Alan. Like no talking, he just starts firing. And Sarah Breaker's like, would you fucking stop?
Oh.
Yes, he's the antithesis of so I started blasting.
Right. Yeah, got him. There are a lot of shots I had to dump in that guy.
Instead of referring to Alan by his name, he uses the names of famous writers such as Stephen King and H.P. Lovecraft. Like every time he calls him, he's like, "Hey, what? I'm gonna get you, H.P. Lovecraft."
Right? Yeah.
Stopped working, and then that flooding just disappeared. Crazy forest.
Early concepts showed Nightingale was originally going to become a Taken and be fought in a sawmill as a
Casey,
boss,
say
but
hello
the idea
to
was
Alan
scrapped.
Wake. Mr. Wake, this is Special
Oh, there he
Agent
is.
Alex
Mhm.
Casey.
In
Here's
early
what you
development of the
are.
game, it was considered for
Casey, I'll
Nightingale
meet
to
you
be a
there,
playable
right after
character,
you take a
but
look
was
around.
scrapped. He
If
would
the
later
footage
become
receded, there might be
playable
evidence we missed
in the
earlier.
prologue
It was
of Alan Wake
scratched.
2.
See you there.
Hey, scratched. There you go.
All right.
So it looks like he did become a playable character eventually.
Yeah. For about 20 minutes.
And you can see his wang if you play your cards right.
Yeah. If you set those settings just right and swing
And
that camera around.
And by golly, this man let himself go between Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 2.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. Well, I don't think I can stretch for any more time while Logan reads the Alan Wake wiki, the Alan Wiki.
No. It's fandom.alanwake.com.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know how they didn't call it the Alan Wakey, but sure.
Wake.
All right. Tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
You want to know about tomorrow? I got all about tomorrow as soon as I find
I'm
the
just
right thing.
itching to know what we're playing tomorrow.
Oh, you and Shelby are dropping in and defending democracy from a bunch of goddamn bugs.
Oh, is that tomorrow? Okay.
That's tomorrow.
I gotta make sure to get on early so we could play.
Get in the game.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, those servers are still a mess. I'm gonna try it when we sign off here just to see if it's any better. But I couldn't get in before this stream, so
I mean, honestly,
tomorrow might be sketchy.
I think it's a good thing the servers are so bad.
It means the game is popular. It means a lot of people are playing.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean it's
'Cause
better than
it's a small dev team. They're not like a AAA studio game or whatever, and it's so popular.
right. The
It's
publishing arm doesn't get much bigger because it's freaking Sony, but the dev they don't. That's not a huge team from what I can tell.
And I like it like friggin' Lethal Company, Helldivers,
Uh-huh.
and even a little bit further back like Among Us. I really like it when small dev team games
Just
that aren't like
explode.
AAA $60-$70 titles
Mhm.
or quadruple A if you're playing some Skull and
Oh,
Bones.
yeah, some Ubisoft.
Like they're so insanely popular. I really like that.
Yeah. I mean, it comes with its own problems. Like it stresses them out, I'm sure, and it ruins their personal lives. Like we gotta get this thing working because it's way bigger than we planned. But it shows that you made a good product to begin with.
Yeah. It'll get better. And
Yeah, this is
people
only
love it.
temporary.
It's great.
It's frustrating for now, but eventually we'll be able to look back and see like, remember when the servers were rocky, but once all that stuff is evened out, you got yourself a great product there.
Also, Nintendo actually did me a favor and didn't tell me 2 days before they were going to do a thing like this, but which they're so bad about, and they actually told me a week in advance, which is nice.
Yeah.
But Tuesday next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what that is in Italy time. I'm sorry, Mike. Um, I should really find out what the time difference is so I could just remember, but
Right.
I don't know where to find that information in 2 seconds. But they're gonna do a Pokemon Presents, and they're gonna talk about the it's
5
5
a.m.
a.m.
Yeah.
Do the math. It's 5 a.m. probably the next day.
Mhm.
Um, on Tuesday at 9 a.m., which is probably going to be Wednesday at 5 a.m. for Mike.
Right.
Pokemon Presents is going to be happening. I'm going to be live streaming it. It might be a little bit too early for Clayton, but who knows what's going to happen. I'm going to do up another bingo board. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. And I'm going to start talking about it now so people will know it's coming.
Very cool. Well, hey, we'll see you back here tomorrow, and maybe we'll play some Helldivers. If we can't get into Helldivers, I'm playing No Man's Sky. So we're playing some sort of space game. I'll tell you that much.
You're either going to defend democracy or you're not.
Right, exactly. All right, and we will see you back here tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern, as we play some more video games. Have a good night.
Good night.